Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, good morning.
गुड मॉर्निंग गुड मॉर्निंग।
नमस्कार हो।
अरे नमस्कार
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार।
सर नमस्कार जी, नमस्कार नमस्कार।
नमस्कार मैम।
नमस्कार।
अरे बलबीर सर आले का?
No, okay, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes,
Screen is visible, sir.
yes. सर 12:55 को ज्वाइन करेंगे तेंदुलकर सर।
शांती निकटता माझ्या जागेवर
वैद्य साहब अभी कहाँ पर हो आप?
बांग्ला सर,
अरे वाह, वेरी गुड।
बांग्ला से ही ले रहा हूँ।
सर ज्वाइन हो गए?
ज्वाइन हो गया सर?
हाँ 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 सर। सर म्यूट सर। वेलकम सर।
Thank you. I'm audible?
Yes, yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Dear participants, our expert is in the meet. I welcome you, sir. Tembukar, sir. Today is second day, and we had yesterday one session, एंड कंटिन्यूटी उसी का ही है सर, जो कल बताया गया था. एंड ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ केडीके कॉलेज ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग and Department of Civil Engineering, I welcome you to the program orientation program on research aptitude. To further conduct the proceedings, I hand over to today's moderator, Dr. Vinayak Vaidya. Vaidya sir, please continue.
Yeah. Good morning to all. I welcome you to second day of 1 week orientation program on research aptitude OPRA. Before proceeding, I am enlightening day one host by Dr. Ram Ratan Lal, Vice Chancellor in charge and Dean at Shri Rawatpura Sarkar University, Raipur, Chhattisgarh, deliver expert talk on structure of research paper, which was very informative and useful for the researcher. Today we have with us Dr. Ajay R. Temburkar as the expert. I welcome Dr. Ajay uh, R. Temburkar by presenting the floral bouquet. Welcome, sir. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ajay R. Temburkar to the audience. Dr. Ajay R. Temburkar is distinguished academician and researcher with expertise in civil, environmental, and construction engineering. He holds multiple postgraduate degrees, including an MTech in Environmental Engineering, a PhD from VNIT Nagpur, an LLB and LLM in Law, a PGDMB in Business Management, and a PGDL in Medicine and Health, a certified chartered engineer. He has over 29 years of teaching experience at VNIT Nagpur, guiding more than 118 MTech students, 12 PhD scholars, and publishing more than 138 research papers at national and international level. Recognized for his contribution, he has received a prestigious award such as Jal Seva uh, Puraskar in 2019, AICT IST National Award in 2000 and 2001 respectively, and the Best Paper Award from IWA. He is an expert member for the government initiatives to the Clean Green MIDC project and the president of India's uh, universalization of Roshni program. And invited keynote speaker at international forums like American Academy of Science, USA, ICTC London, UK, and Green Chemistry Conference at Germany. He is a life member of various professional bodies like IE, IBA, and IPHE. Dr. Tendulkar is also actively involved in climate change research under the BRICS University Network. Currently, he is a professor at the Department of Civil Engineering, PNIT Nagpur. Now, I request Dr. Ajay R. Tendulkar to deliver his expert talk on references, management, and strategy. Good to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vinayak. Uh, Let me share my PPT.
Yes, sir.
I think you should allow me to share my PPT.
Yes, sir. Just a moment.
Vaidya sir, just stop sharing.
Okay.
Temburkar sir, you can now share your PPT.
Yeah. Are you able to see this?
Yes sir.
Yes,
Yes
sir.
sir.
Are you able to see my PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please
Okay.
make it to full screen.
Full screen. Yes, I have made it. I have made it. Whether you are able to see full screen.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Uh, should I again stop showing it and then again join it?
No, sir. You can directly share your only full
This,
screen.
yeah, I have shared it.
But
It's moving.
no, sir. It's a window share.
Acha, full screen share. Okay.
Okay.
Now is it okay?
Yes, sir. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So good afternoon, friends, and I really thank KDK College and my friend Dr. Varghese, Principal KDK, and the faculty coordinator Professor Umbre, who is good friend of mine. And they have just called me a week ago that I should talk something on citation and referencing. This is again a topic I don't know, very few places this topic has been taken in research methodology, this thing. But then I'm happy that the orientation program on research aptitude at KDK has taken this topic. This is one of the most important topic for any researcher when you see, and I find this is the most important topic when you are going for any research. I have been told by Dr. Umbre that the members are the faculty of various colleges, and I hope that then I'm able to know that to whom I'm talking. Anyway, many of you will be quite aware about it, and many of you will be well aware with the latest softwares and all the technologies and all these things. Although I belong to some what you can say a classical researcher who is not versed with more of a management softwares and all these things. But having admitted this, I am a researcher which mainly focus on the basics and the fundamentals. Having said so, let us start this particular presentation. And I hope that whatever responsibilities Dr. Varghese and Dr. Umbre has put on me, I will be able to give some justice. So let me start with citations and referencing. Well, friends, this is a research aptitude program, and when you say that, what is this research? It is a search for the knowledge. When you talk about this research, you will find that if you ask our students or an engineer what is research, they are going for very engineering projects, and then they have a set goals, and then they find that it needs to be done, some project has to be done, and that project is called as a research, and they see it straightforward. But suppose if people who are indulged in more of a research, they consider this as a very adventurous journey. Particularly if somebody is doing a research for his doctoral degree or postdoctoral degree, or for some of the what you can say about some ministry or some national or international projects, he finds typically very complicated. However, when I ask my PhD student, they call it as a roller coaster. And yes, it is a very roller coaster for my PhD scholars. When I ask him that, yes, they can start with this, they start with initial idea. The end of the project is somewhere here. This is your goal which you really want to achieve, and you start and you see somewhere here, and then you discuss with your professor, and then you try to change your path, and then you come with a new idea, then the reality hits, and then ultimately you reach to this particular goal. And this wonderful journey, they call it as a roller coaster. So roller coaster can be a nightmare to somebody, or it can be a fun for many. So how you take this research, it all depends upon this. So when you really want to understand that what is this research, basically you can call this as 3 to 4 definitions which comes in my mind. But somebody may call this as a scientific and the systematic search of a pertaining information on a specific topic, or some people say it is a careful investigation of a new facts. For engineers, we call it as a manipulation of things or the concept or symbols for the purpose of generalization to the extent. Or when you are talking to a person who belongs to humanities and all this thing, they say it is a discovery solutions to the research problem identified. But ultimately, everybody works for a original contribution to the existing stock of knowledge. Okay, so this is the research which we say. And many times when we really say that what is this research, sometimes it has been best explained with a this hourglass this thing, where it begins with a broader questions. Okay, it narrows down in operationalization. It observes it, and then you work on it, observe it, work on it, observe the data, reach to a conclusion, and then you come out to a generalization. But ultimately, when I see this research, I feel that it is a relay race. Okay, and therefore I conceptualize this as a relay race, and you are one of the participant of that relay race. You just take a baton from your previous researcher, and then you run further. Okay, so it is an exchange of your baton. So whatever he might have done, whatever he has left, you try to improve upon. If he lacks something in a race, also if lacks in time, then you do something, you optimize it to increase the time. Okay, so that ultimately you as a team is a winner. So no research is a complete, it is a continuous cycle. And if you really want to understand this, a typical thing, it's what you can say a circle of research or a ring of research. When it starts with your research questions or the objective, you try to develop certain criteria. You go for a comprehensive literature search. Then you decide upon your study, or you decide upon your DOE, the design of experiments, or your methodology. Once you're done with the methodology, you conduct these things, extract the data, do some quality assessment, try to synthesize the data to reach to a meaningful interpretation and the discussion, and then you draw the conclusion, you go back to the world, and this circle starts, and then another person starts over here. Now, depending upon what level of research which you are doing, whether it is your 1 year research or 2 year research or 3 year research, normally I call it as it is a 4 into 100 relay or a 4 into 400 relay and all this thing. If somebody says that if he is doing a research for a BTech thing, I think you are running a 4 into 100 relay. But if it is for your doctoral research, then it is 4 into 400 or something like that. So whenever you search any problem, this thing, you are working on something like a research. Then when in this research, there are two terms for which I have been told to speak on, and that is citation and references. And I consider the citation and references as the first and the last thing to be done in the research. Okay, this is the very first thing when I discuss with my research scholars, with my PhD scholars and all this thing. I say that when you want to do research under me, the first thing which you have to do is you have to write the research, the references chapter first. Okay, or you start doing citation. So whenever you take any paper or any book or anything, any source of knowledge, the first thing is what you have to note is your reference from where you are taking it. Because that is the most important thing, which requires not only the start of the research, it requires during the research, it also requires at the end of the research, and it requires forever whenever you want to defend your research. And ultimately, it's the last thing, because if you consider that your PhD submission of your thesis is the last thing, then in that case also, it is the most important thing that you have to have a proper citation and references. Not only this, even if you think that you have done research to write in a paper, then in that case also you will be finding that the one of the important point of selection of your quality papers, when I'm talking something like a SCI papers and all these things, the first thing the reviewer sees about your references. Okay, and suppose if he is not having a proper references, because based on that thing he make a decision whether that research is a quality research, whether it is the contemporary or the research, recent research. And therefore it is very, very important that you have to have a proper citations and referencing. But what does it mean? What is this citations and the references? As a researcher, when you want to go for a research and when you want to write your report and all these things, it is important for you that you have to refer some reliable sources of knowledge. Okay, because from there you take help and then you try to go for the documentation, whether it is your paper, whether it is your report, whether it is your thesis, whether it is your dissertation, whatever you want to say. And for that thing, when you study different papers, when you review different sources of knowledge, okay, when you review certain previous resources, then you try to take a quotations. As a quotation means that you are taking as it is, okay, some of the matter which you want, or you take a small sentences, you try to understand that sentences and then you paraphrase according to your language and according to your understanding, and then you try to produce your knowledge, or you try to add value to the existing knowledge tree. So this is what you are doing it. So ultimately, right from the first day up to the last day, you will be indulged into these particular activities. But when you are doing so, it is very important that you have to give due credit to all those who have already done some research or whom they have contributed. And therefore, it is very important that you have to. Now, this is the ethics, this is the requirement of a research. Now, suppose if you don't want to acknowledge their contribution, then you will be caught in plagiarism. So I'm just putting this, highlighting these things, quotations, paraphrases, and plagiarism, and all these things, because all these are connected, and we have to understand this topic with these keywords. Okay, so yes, friends. So when you are doing all these things, so during research, when you are reporting something or when you are writing some technical writing or some paper or something like that, you have to avoid any plagiarism, and therefore you have to go on giving a proper citation. And if you just talk about what is this citation, the citation, I said that citation is a specific source that you mention in the body of your text. Text means on the manuscript. Okay, so whatever you are mentioning, that from where you have referred this thing, so you put a citation with a different style. I will be talking about the different style over here. And whenever you are citing anything in your text of your report, it needs to be referred. So with a section which we call it as a reference. So this reference becomes a list of sources which you have cited. Now, it is very important that these references has to be correct. It has to be complete information from where you are referring. As an engineer, if you ask me that what is that mathematical formula which we are seeing over here, I say that it is that the number of citations has to be equal to the number of references. Okay, this is the simple norm which we try to follow whenever you are doing any research, whenever you are writing any paper or a thesis or something like that. In that references, sometimes people ask me, sir, what is this reference, or whether it is similar to your bibliography. So there is a slight difference, and in this case, when a reference list is a source where you are directly citing it, and it helps the reader of your material to locate the exact material referred. Whereas bibliography need not be an exact material referred, but you will be finding that it's a list of all resources consulted. Okay, even if they are not directly cited in your paper or your thesis and this thing. So bibliography is that. So, but then that provides this additional reading for a person who is interested in going into the broader topic. Now, when you go for these write-up and all this thing, it is the most important activity which you do is you go for a comprehensive research and the review. What many of you call it as a literature review or review of literature, something like that. And when you go for any research, it is very imperative that you have to go for a very comprehensive, very good or extensive literature review. And in that case, it should not be half-assed. And therefore, I have tried to give you certain strategies when you talk about this. Here, you have to clearly define your research queries. Means whatever topic which you have selected, try to find out what exactly you want to do. What are the queries which you have found? And depending upon that, you have to search for a sources which are relevant, authentic, and a quality. Means the sources should be from a good referred journal, a good index journal, something like a data which is very authentic. It has to be, suppose if you're taking from certain authority, we say that it should be the authority of that area. Okay, and then whenever you're taking, you have to you identify the limit and the constraint, maybe your time constraint or the space constraint or your cost constraint or limiting your data constraint when you are going for this thing. So systematically you have to do all these things. You go for different type of articles. You go in library, you go to online, you see some research register, you go through all the published articles, theses, proceedings of a conferences, books, and of course the peer group. Okay, so there has to be a good discussion among the peer groups. Your guide and your colleagues, your seniors becomes the important persons to talk with to get certain knowledge, as well as some experts. Also, you will be finding that there can be some experts and this thing. And also, I say gray literature, where you don't find that it has a quite relevance, but then they can, let us say, if you are going in the field and talking with some workers and all this thing, and you're working on some management model or something like that, even the information given by these lowest in that hierarchy can become an information for you. Web of Science, everybody, you are quite aware of it. The Science Direct, the American Society, Scopus, Springer, Taylor and Francis, IEEE, if you are from the circuitry branches like electrical, electronics, and so on and so forth. Of course, some the Google Scholar we should not miss, and the personal communication. So you are going to go for these searches and all these things. When you are going for these searches, the strategy can be that you have to sort this thing, or you go for a back references and then go into details of all these sources. Apart from that, you have to go for a creative and a critical reading, because whenever you want to take information, the information we have to take maximum information in a minimum what you can say what you can say a minimum pages or something like that. You have to give the detailed information. Then not only this, when you are taking this information, it is important that you have to synthesize, you have to analyze the information, to conceptualize your research, to understand the hypotheses, models, and analysis. And also, ultimately, when you are going for this research, you want to go for the documentation, that is the scholarly publication. Means that you have to write a paper or a thesis or a report or something like that. Ultimately, when you are referring all these sources, exactly what does it mean when we say that you are reviewing something, and what exactly you do over here? See, basically you try to compare the different authors' work and try to contrast the view on a particular issue which you want to decide upon. You also see that you try to group the different authors having a similar conclusion, so that you can just agree to them or disagree, or you can come up with certain conclusion on this thing. Apart from that, when you are reviewing something, you try to see the exemplary studies, and of course we are trying to find out the gaps in the research. Also, when we try to understand, we try to understand that what are the relation between our research and the previous this thing, what are the gaps, what exactly they have left. Now all these are very important, because to prove your point, or to identify your research, or to, even when you are not only identifying a research, plus to decide your objective and scope, to decide your methodology. In your methodology also, you try to understand that what people have done, what mistake they have done, or what are the methods which are good for a particular type of a research, and so on and so forth. And also you have to be very cautious, and you have to prove your point during your research, the results and discussion, and when you go for the data analysis and so on and so forth. You can prove well if you have done proper citation. Not only this, but even when you are concluding, and suppose if you can compare with the leading research which has been previously done, and if you can put your point against that proven thing, you will be finding that your research will be ultimately highly appreciated. Now, when you cite this, so what are these ways of citation? I said that you are citing means you are taking certain information, certain words, certain paragraph, certain ideas, certain concepts, certain things, where you try to put it in your paper or something like that. If you take exactly in the same word from any sources as what is done by the original source, then we say it is a quotation. Can I take it? If I just take all these words as it is, maybe in verbatim, then I will be caught in a plagiarism, and I don't want to get caught in plagiarism. Okay, but I can take their idea. But sometimes there are certain things where I want to take it as it is. So if I want to take as it is, then it is called as a quotation, as you might be knowing it, because you are the faculty. I hope that you are knowing it. But then here there are some things which we have to really understand. There are some short quotation and there are certain long quotation. If it is less than 40 words, we call it as a short quotation. If it is more than 40 words, we call it as a long quotation. When you are doing a quotation as a short quotation, then you have to put it in an inverted comma. So whatever paragraph which you will be putting it over here. And of course, you have to put the page number, where we say that the page dot 25, and the full stop is somewhere here. Okay, this page number is a inclusive part of your short quotation. But if it is a long quotation, you will be finding you go for a block, complete the block, and at the end of the block, you will be finding that you put a full stop. Okay, now this can be a new paragraph with an intent, or sometimes people can go with italics, italicsing that thing, and then you put a page number after that, because we want to tell the references from where exactly we are taking it. So many times when you are quoting as it is, sometimes you want to omit certain things from here. And then you will be finding that you go with the 3 ellipses, these 3 dots. So whenever you are taking a paragraph, and then if you want to omit certain thing in between, then you put the 3 dots and this thing. But when we go for the 4 dots, the 4 dots is that when you are omitting a number of sentences. So in quotations also, we have to see to it that whether I have to put a 3 dot or 2 dot. Many times the student, they don't see that how many dots I should put it, and so on and so forth. So this is the importance of this quotation. Many times you have to explain certain thing other than that, the original thing which you want to put something to explain certain words or something like that, then it has to be put in the square bracket. Okay. Now, suppose if you are going with a direct quotation in verbatim and you find that there is certain thing wrong and even it is incorrect. But suppose if you want to retain the authenticity or the originality, the spontaneity, then you should say that the italics or you can put at the end with a square bracket SIC. So all these are what you can say in norms, or these are the basic language of a researcher when you are going for a citation. But then many times we don't take when you are going for the reference, referring anything or reviewing anything, you don't take as a quotations. But the best thing is that you take the various data, various sentences on this topic, try to make small sentences and then paraphrase it after understanding it, and then you are putting it in your text. So in that case, we call these as a paraphrasing. And therefore, this material need not appear in this quotation mark, which I have shown over there. So most of the things which we are doing in a paraphrasing. And when you paraphrase something, yes, that needs to be cited. And of course, it has to be put into a references. Okay, so this is what we are doing as a paraphrasing. And there are certain things which where you refer something and you want to, let us say if you are referring certain report or if you are referring to some documents and all this, and if you want to acknowledge that, then acknowledgement is also a way of citations, and this needs to be done at the end of your paper or something like that. Somewhere you will be finding in reports, and is this thing, it can be at the beginning also, but in your paper and all this thing, it will be at the end of these things. Now, paraphrasing is a very important thing, and whenever you are going for a technical writing, it requires a precision and clarity whenever you are maintaining this, because you cannot change the meaning of the original thinker. So most of the time, what you will be finding that whenever you are reading something, try to understand the concept, try to understand what the original writer wants to say, and then you can make your own sentence, paraphrase it, but then it should have a similar meaning. And therefore, just for your to tell you something, effective strategy can be that you just understand the source material, where you will be reading the original text carefully and try to take the meaning out of it. Then you will try to break down the complex sentences into a smaller sentences so that it is more digestible. Then use own words and avoid this simply replacing the words or synonyms, because many times I found that my students, they just take it, try to just replace with the synonyms, and they feel that we can avoid plagiarism. But believe me that now these softwares, when you talk about these plagiarism softwares or Turnitin, the similarity softwares, you will be finding that it is now AI enabled, and therefore you cannot fool these softwares as such. So don't try to just replace by synonyms and all this. Instead of that, try to understand it, rewrite the sentence into different structures, and then you can replace. Even whenever you are going for writing, don't use a complicated or big jargon of words. Try to be more simple and make it that people understand it. Okay. And the most important thing is that you have to see to it that whenever you are paraphrasing, it ensures or preserves the original meaning of what you really want to say. And then, of course, when you have done with all these paraphrasing and all this thing, don't forget to cite your sources. It is very important to cite the source to avoid the plagiarism. So this is an effective strategy. I hope that you, being a teachers, everybody are doing all these particular thing. Now, when you want to go with the citation, some words are there. There is in text citations where you in the manuscript you cite it. You have a citation at the bottom where you go for at the end where you can go for a bibliographic citations where you can have a full paragraphs or the papers or something like that. Or in some of the books when I was doing my law post graduation and all this, we have a lot of footnotes and endnotes. So whenever we were having this case studies and all these things in our reports, we used to put a footnotes or a endnotes. And there is a very most of you, I don't know are aware, but a pagination which is a citation of a page for a single pages or a multiple pages when we try to refer or exactly where we want to refer these things. Now, I hope that I'm audible and people are there with me.
Yes.
You are there listening? Okay. Okay. Should I move further? Anyone is there or not?
Yes. Certainly, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You can.
Okay, so let us then try to understand few citation styles which you are having it. The most common is the American Psychological Association citations. Okay, wherein we have this in-text citation where you put the author name and you give the year of publication. And in the reference list, you will be finding that you quote it that the author and the year of publication, the title of the publication, and if it is a book, you will be seeing that it is from the publisher and so on and so forth. If you are in humanities, you go with a modern language association. Normally, we are not going with these things, so I'm not discussing much on this. Again, there is a Chicago or Turabian, which is for a business management history of fine arts, wherein it is important that you put a page number and all this because they want to be specific at from where at what this thing. So normally they will be having a footnote and then a page number. So this is the style of this thing. In a footnote they put. So that's why I said in law also we are having the case study or case laws like something like that. You have a number in your writing, and then in the footnote you will be having. And of course we have a bibliography which you write it over there. But this is the citation style we don't adopt, but we adopt this many American Psychological Association, or for engineers and technological fields, IEEE, that is the Institution of Electrical and Electronics Engineers citation, which is in numbers. So we use numbers and then we have this thing. So in your in-text citation, it will be number in the square brackets. And of course, we in the reference list, we go with first number with the author and then the title of your article, then the sources, that is your publisher, and so on and so forth. Another important which we use is the Harvard widely used. This is also a author date format, and it is very similar to your APA, American Psychological Association format or style, where both are almost same when we are looking. Only thing when you are going for this thing, you will be finding that a slight difference, which I will tell you in the coming slides. Okay. Now, if you just ask me what is the general format for this particular thing, you will be finding that it's a name and the year system. And you have a APA referencing manual 7th edition, which tells you about all these things. And you will be finding that you can have a single author, you can have a 2 author, 3 or more author, or a multiple author, or you don't have any author, and so on and so forth. Okay, so all these citations, when you are putting it, it is in the parenthesis, means you are putting it in bracket, something like this, George and Temburkar, something like that. It is coming over here, and the reference will be something like that. So some paper who has referred our article, it will be something like this. There's another style which, so this is APA and Harvard style, which you are having it. So in this case, I will come back to this, but I will also tell you first, the second style is IEEE style of citation, where you put a number, means you are putting a number in a square, and then at the bottom you go for the reference list, where you try to put this reference order in number 1, 2, 3 as you refer. As you refer, you put over there. So this is another style of citations which you are having it. Now the difference between APA or Harvard is that when you refer in terms of the author, what you can say, surname and all this thing, then in that particular case, in reference portion, you write in alphabetical order. It is always said that in ascending order of alphabetic order you write it, whereas when you are going in your IEEE, then we try to go with the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so like that, in ascending number we write it. Although if somebody asks me, sir, what we should refer and all this thing, ultimately it all depends upon the where you are publishing your paper. It all depends upon the publisher in what style. So many of these journals and all this thing, they give their style, and we have to exactly follow that style. Some of them put full stop, some of them put comma, and so on and so forth. Okay, so like that we have to follow. But some examples which I really want to mention over here is that when you're citing in your text, and I'm talking about a APA or a Harvard style, if it is a one author, then you can say that Tembulkar found 2025 found these things, means instead of only one author. But if it is two authors, then you will be finding Tembulkar AR and George AM. Okay, 2025 found something like that. If it is a three author, then Tembulkar AR, George AM, and Mukanti VB 2025 found something like that. But what to do if you it is it needs to be repeated more than one time? The same references has to be repeated more than one time. So if it is to be repeated more than one time, even if it is three authors, we'll say Tembulkar et al. Okay, and others. Okay, but suppose again if you want to repeat in that paragraph, then there is no need of putting even the year. So this is the style of writing when we are going for these things. Okay, now if you go for two, and one is that author name. When you go for this and this, Tembulkar and George, if it is three, you go for these and third one, and fourth one, and five, and six. Okay, you can go up to six. But what happens if you are having more than six authors? If you go for more than six authors, you write all six authors and then you write et al. Okay, so here, so when you go for all these things, you have to understand. Otherwise, what happens? You just put it like et al. Okay, so et al means others. So every time I have recently I have one thesis where every after single author et al. I said, why you are writing everywhere et al? Okay, and he has not put the year also. So then I explained all these particular things. So I thought that I should also explain this over here. Then many times you will be finding that if there is no author, you are not able to find, there is no author written over there, or you will be finding it is anonymous. So here in this particular case, you can write anonymous, okay, year. If you are having two surnames, then in that particular case, both the surname and you have to give initials. Some of the journals you will be finding that they don't want the initials to be put. So Tembulkar and George. But suppose if it is George, Aju, George, Mabel. So then George A and George M, something like that. So if it is same authors, then you will have to go with initials also. Sometimes it is a group as an author. Group means you will be finding that KDK colleges, College of Engineering, or NEERI, or something like that. So then in that particular case, you have to put as NEERI, or some group, made a materials group, or something like the civil group, something like that. So suppose if that is written in by a group, so all these things you have to put it into this parenthesis. I said there is two important things. One is the author, and the second is your year, that is the date of publication. But suppose there are some classical work where you don't have a date, then normally we say ND, N.D. Okay, so no date. Okay, many times you will be finding that there will be references and you want to cite it in your text about that thing. Then in that case, you will be finding that you have to put the person interview with so and so, or in personal communication with. Okay, so all these type of things which you have to write down. Sometimes you have to put a specific part or explain a specific part of a different sources. Okay, so all these things, so this is what you write in your text. And then in the references, you will be finding that you can have a different book. The book, it can be written by one author, two author, or more than two author. It can be a book with an editor. So normally when it is an editor, you know that the different chapters have been written by different authors, and there is an editor who edit the book. There can be a group authors, something like NEERI or something, or VNIT or something like that. You will find that there can be some no author is there. Okay, or sometimes you will be finding that you have a references with translated this thing. So many times if it is in Chinese, you write down in Chinese, but then you have to put it in a square bracket about the translated and title or something like that. Especially we try to put a title translated. Then you have a different format for encyclopedia. You have a different format for journal articles written by one, or written by two, or written by 3 to 6, and all these things what I was just talking about. Also, there can be a special issue of a journal. You can have a magazine, you can have a newsletter, you can have some technical and research report, which can be a published report or unpublished. If it is an unpublished, you have to write out unpublished. If it is a patent, then you will be finding that you have to give the patent number, and so on and so forth. Most of these things you can even refer to some software, you can refer to video, even in news. If you are hearing, and if you want to refer that thing, that can also be referred. Now but nowadays the most important thing which you have is your online referencing, because most of your sources now are online, wherein you go with your DOI, that is a digital object identifier, or you go with your URL, that is that is Uniform Resource Locator, and the World Wide Web. So all these things, and you have certain style of referring that particular thing. Basically, when I was referring to all these things, some examples which I am just telling you. If it is, let us say, triple I, because I have taken, because this is normally which we are going for our engineering background. So wherein you will be finding that you have an author, then you put a title of a book, then where you have published, which edition, with city of a publisher, then the abbreviation, and so on and so forth. So it will something look like this. This thing, a book on robot vision by Cambridge, by MIT press publication. So this is how we are writing it, and this is where you, if it is something like a journal, you will be finding that your name of author is there, then you have a title of your article, then you have the title of your journal, the volume number, page number, and then the DOI, and all these things. Many times you will be finding that when it is online, most of the time, because this journal may be a published as well as the online, so we can put it both the things. But in fact, when we give DOI, many times we can avoid giving the page numbers. You have different sources where you have the conference proceeding with editors, and you, whenever you are writing that particular thing, suppose if this is the article from a conference proceeding, then the title of the articles, the author of the article, title of the article, then in conference proceeding of something like that, you have to write it down, and then you write the conference, and then you write down the place of the conference, and then the date of the conference, and so on and so forth. So that is how you write it down. If it is a conference proceeding, online conference, then you have to give a DOI or URL, something like that. Even you can, as I said, that you can even cite the lectures or manuals or your personal communication, newspaper, and so on and so forth. And this is a typical thing which you go online. Okay, so this is the style which has been given by IEEE. Since I have been given only 1 hour and almost 45 minutes I have been over, so I can't go in very detail of all these things, but I can talk on this with all the type of options later on, or if somebody wants, they can communicate me what type of references, how we can refer it. Many times when you are referring a certain specific thing to a relevant place in a source, then you certainly like to have the page, and therefore if you, it's a single page, then you can say that it is demonstrated in page, okay, 5. Okay, so it's a reference 5 and page. When it is a single page, you will put 1 dot over here after P. If it is more than 2, you will have 2 dots. If you are referring to some certain paragraph, then you write as noted in 4 reference paragraph this 4.2 or something like that. If it is a chapter, then it is a 6, chapter 2, page 7 to 13 or something like that. If you want to talk about the figure, then you go for the reference 8 figures, so and so forth. So similarly, when you go for table pagination and all this, and this is how we go for a pagination in your, sorry. So we go for this pagination. Now, whenever you are going for a citation, you are likely to commit a mistakes. And it is important that we have to avoid these mistakes or in citation, because ultimately it can lead to a plagiarism. And therefore, what are the few things which I try to find out? It is the incorrect author name in the formatting. Okay, so basically whether we should go for writing Smith J, or only a surname and initial, or surname and full name, or whether the first name should be first or first. So all these things really depends upon the sources where you are communicating. Many times people understand the APA style or IEEE style, and then they mix up and they have their own style, and that needs to be avoided, because wherever you are submitting any paper or any write-up, it has to follow scrupulously the same style which is followed by that journal or that book or that publisher. Okay, so it is very important that you have to follow this. Many times you will be finding that you miss certain texts. Okay, there is another mistake which you make is the improper page number you use, or incorrect punctuation or the formats. Okay, or you make an error while writing the URL or a DOI, or sometimes we are very excited to have over citations or under citations, too much citations. Every sentences you are putting some citation. Basically that becomes so clumsy, and it is full of litters, okay, or clutters, what you can say. And therefore you will be finding that you have to avoid this over citation. But many times it need not be a under citations, because many times then people have a doubt that whether it has some plagiarized material. Anyway, but you'll find that this citation becomes a very important because it is a crucial for writing any thesis report or documentation, or you will be finding that it is very important because it avoids plagiarism. If you do properly citation, you can avoid plagiarism. You can enhance the credibility of your document. You can support it with a proper or a authentic sources. You can allow your reader to verify your information, and you maintain a better consistency in your writing, and you maintain your professionalism, and ultimately you avoid your plagiarism, and therefore you respect the intellectual property right of others. uh, Now this maintaining this, when you want to refer something, it is a very clumsy work. Whenever I tell all these citations and all these this particular thing, you have to everywhere, every time on the toes, to take from where, what is the source, what is your author. You have to write it down. Many times I tell my student that you make one register and write it down, write it down. Okay, first the reference, and then you can study these things. So you get a booklet prepared with all the references, and you give some code number. I tell them that what type of code numbers should be given to a particular this thing, and so that it becomes. And whenever you are going for any paraphrasing or any write up, any paragraph when you are writing, just put that code number over there. So, and later on you can put the citations, and later on you can prepare your reference this thing. So they always say that, sir, this is very clumsy, it is more boring, it is time consuming. Okay, and many times they knowingly or unknowingly they miss something, or they put some wrong information and all this thing. Suppose if you are making certain mistake, you will be finding that your papers and thesis will not be accepted. Okay, so many people, they say that, can we go with a software? Yes, sir, there are certain softwares where you can manage your information resources very quickly, and you will be finding that you can organize or the citing sources, and you can store your all your referred material. Also, you can just collaborate with the other researcher, fellow researcher, and then you can just refer his references, import his references, import its PDFs, and so on and so forth, and you can insert this thing if some person has prepared that thing. So there are certain software where you can store all your materials which you have referred, and the very common are mentally Zotero, EndNotes, ReferWorks, Paper Pile, JabRefer, and even in the new MS Word, you can have the plugin functions over there. So all these softwares are there, and student ask me whether we should go for this thing, and whether it will be quick and all this thing. Everybody claims that thing. I beg to differ in this, and I normally say, if you want to delay your thesis, go for using the softwares. I always believe that you should go for this thing. Softwares will make you handicapped, and I don't want to make my students handicapped. So although you can use when you are means well versed with the references and all that, but starting you should not go with some automated this thing, automated tool, because you will not be able to learn. Let us say if I just ask my son not to start walking or cycle it, and just put it in the four-wheeler car and ask him to learn this thing. Okay, it will be quick and easy for him. He knows some buttons like playing this thing, but whether he can run throughout his life, suppose if he's not started, he doesn't learn how to walk and how to pedal it, how to balance it. Okay, then it is something like that. So if you are addicted with use of software, I think that you are becoming somewhere where, or normally I say you are ये जो बोलते हैं ना पंगु हो गया ना, वैसी वैसी उस टाइप की चीजें हो जाती है. So this is what here. But anyway, I have been told that I have to talk about something about the reference management, citation management, and what are the different softwares where this thing. Time is very short, so quickly I will, in 5 minutes, I will try to wrap up where you can have a mentally where you can store, share your papers, and this thing. It's a software, but all these softwares have some cost. There is Zorato, which is open source, where which also used to store your resources, and then you can develop your references from this thing. So is reference work. EndNote is a very popular tool, or a advanced reference management tool, where you can cite, you can have the formatting. Many people say that, sir, can we have a, it can be very easy for citation, and yes, it can be easy, but it commits so many mistakes which you cannot identify. A smallest thing, that suppose if it is a superscript, it will never take. Okay, something like that. So there are very finer details where it commits mistake. Although once you have gone into number of research, more experience in research, then if you want to write a report very quickly and all this thing, during that time, yes, you can use it. Okay, I don't say that don't use it, but then you can use it if it is necessary, at most necessary. But if you are really doing a research, then you can just follow the norms, this thing. Because there is one more thing. When you are doing manually, which I am telling you to follow certain things, then you also remember that particular references. You see 2-3 times about that references, and therefore it is very important to see all these things. There are certain paraphrasing, means there are automatic this thing, quick bold, or you have a href refs paraphrasing tool, or Grammarly is a very popular this thing, where we check the grammar and you can go with the paraphrasing tool, which most of the people are using nowadays. But again, if you don't want to learn how to write technically, then don't refer all these things. Okay, maybe sometimes for checking before, if maybe your paper is refused for some better English, writing, for want of better English or something like that, then maybe sometimes you can verify from this particular thing. All these things, there is a fear of another thing, that is a plagiarism, and therefore it is very important, yes, because whenever you want to publish now, it needs to be free from plagiarism, and therefore yes, I say that you should go for some of the plagiarism detection rule, whether it is a 13 or a Grammarly or copy scan, or something like that, or a cross check, or something like that, where you can check it. So paraphrasing is a very important thing, because as you are quite aware, it should be less than 15% whenever you are writing certain papers and all these things. Okay, I always say less than 10%. Can it not be less than 10%? And believe me that if you are not using any soft tool or something like that, if you are writing, you are paraphrasing it, it normally comes to less than 10%. But when the people are using certain softwares, or if they are taking help of these things, it goes beyond 15%. And many times you will be finding that not only it goes beyond 15%, but it is many times it shows a red flag that it has been taken from somewhere. So the AI is working over there. But anyway, try to be less than 15%, or and if it is between 15 to 25, then you really have to work hard and see that you go for some review and then again correct it. Okay, it may be because of improper paraphrasing, but if it is above 25, then a real what you can say, efforts will be required to revise it significantly and to ensure the originality. However, you will be finding that there are certain people field where people will say that the similarity comes more than that. And when you are checking the similarity, when some common things like the your title of your organization or something. Some common things are there, some common formulas are there, some standard phrases are there, some methodologies are there, formulas are there. So in that case you can have higher similarity, and therefore some organization, even in our case, we go up to 30% for the thesis. So that is also possible, because most of the time you will be finding that the acknowledgement and then the common phrases, that are the similarity which we see. But anyway, whenever you are submitting, please try to check with the specific guidelines of the organization where you are sending or publishing. Because it is you have to understand that, suppose if you are not doing this, you may have different consequences. If you are a student, this thing, you have to redo the assignment or face suspension or expulsion. If it is if you are copying it something, you can get caught up in the Copyright Act. If you professionally, if you are caught, you will be finding you will be banned from publishing. And you are finding that UG is very strict about this, that they can withdraw your manuscript. And also most of the persons who are sitting over there are aspiring for their promotions. So suppose if you got, you will not be get promoted to professors and so on and so forth. Few very 2 minutes, sir. I will just take these things. So how can I avoid this thing? The plagiarism. You can cite your sources always. If you are taking exact words, you go for a quotation marks. You go for a proper paraphrasing and try to have your own sentences, own analysis, and avoid overuse of the common phrases. And always have a proper track of your references, maintain proper reference list, and all these things. Always go for review and revise. More number of review and revise will try to avoid all this plagiarism. And of course, ultimately you use any plagiarism checker, whether it is Turning, Grammarly, or DupliCheck, Plagiarism CheckX, CopyX, or ProWrite, etc. So these are all the softwares which you have. Okay. So ultimately, to conclude this my lecture, that a authentic, accurate, and relevant citation is the essence of any research. If you are going for this thing, it is most important that you have. And if you really want to write scholarly article or research document, citation plays a very crucial role, vital role over there. And you have to judiciously use the softwares if you feel that the study demands or the publisher demands. But even if you go manually, I think you will be able to do this. But my advice is that every researcher must adopt some ethical practices of citations and referencing, and see to it that you don't plagiarize. You may use plagiarism detection tool to ensure originality before submission. That's all what I want to say for this moment. I think I have just taken 5 minutes more than the this thing. Over to Umbre sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Very informative. Many things was very much new to me also. So, you correctly said that very few programs I saw wherein this topic is being taken for deliberation.
Yes, yes.
So this is very
I'm so happy
important, and
because because it was for 1 hour, but for PhD, this thing I used to take 4 or 6 hours on this only. How to cite it and all these things.
and this is the most neglected area wherein research scholars fall prey to it. I mean, they just neglect it.
But let me
And
tell you, although you may say that it is a neglected, but this is the most important thing for
yes,
publishing,
yes,
for getting PhD or getting degree or getting your paper published.
even sir, next lecture is again this kind of attempt has been made. The next lecture is about journal metric and author metrics in research domain.
Yeah. No, but that is
So
very
it
important
is
to keep how much where you stand.
yeah. So one must know their impact, general impact and personal impact as well as a researcher. But sir, your lecture was very informative.
Tembulkar sir, namaskar. Very informative lecture, sir. Thank from
you, sir.
KDK College of Engineering.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now we'll take if participants have any questions, they can post to chat. If anybody have any question, they can ask the professor directly. They can put the question. It was very wonderful. Only appreciations are there in the chat box. Any participant can post their queries, any questions to the chat box.
Even if they don't have any questions right now, they can contact me. I'm always there.
सर एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन ऐसा था, नॉर्मली ये जब हम सिमिलरिटी चेक करते हैं सर, तो said that when you I mean I got this particular case in one of my publication that they commented that you go for citations using any standard software like Mendeley or Zotero or something. So that would apparently take care of source identification, and hence plagiarism will not be there by much percentage. So is it something like if we, as you are saying that you are reluctant in using software by going
why it is so? Because many times you don't have that practice of whatever you are referring, you are not citing it. उस समय पे उसका इंफॉर्मेशन आपने लिया नहीं, ठीक है? So ऐसे many times we say अरे मैं बाद में लिख लूंगा and I will refer it later on. So you don't put it. Now, suppose if you are taking that sentence and if you are going for the publication, okay, there it comes as a plagiarize. But suppose if you have created, use the software and then you are plugging some material from that thing, so it gets automatically cited. The reason is that, and you don't know, many of my students don't know that they have already cited it or something like that. Okay, so that is why the ultimate check, people say that you better go for the software so that this can be reduced. So the publisher say इनको क्या सिखाते, जैसे मैं बोलूंगा मैं मेरे स्टूडेंट को सिखाना है ये करते रहे बेटा, लेकिन वो उनको बोलेगा immediately you correct it. Similarly, the another question is कि आपका your English is not good. So then they say that you go with a Grammarly or any language software to correct the language or the grammar. Okay, so like that they say that you go for this management tool or something like that. But why I am saying specifically to my research scholars and all these things, see, don't fully rely on these management or citation softwares or even paraphrasing softwares. The reason is that they will not be aware of about what they have referred. Okay, so that is my concern. But suppose if you are a good researcher for a long time and you are doing some research and you have a very short time, then you can use it. That is what I'm saying.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any other question?
Any other?
Thank you, Tembulkar sir. Sir, there is one.
Yes.
Sir, some good publishers are checking through cross-ref. Okay, if it is not verified, then what it indicates, sir?
What is it? What is not verified?
So some journals are checking all the references through cross-ref, and if it is not verified, that means what it indicates.
I'm not aware about this. Sorry.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, this softwares and this part I'm mostly not aware.
Participants. Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Questions from audience. Okay, sir. I think there is no questions. It was a
Yeah, I
wonderful
can
and
see Madhur sir.
informative talk.
Hi.
Hi, sir.
It was a wonderful and informative talk, and I hope all participants will definitely gain the knowledge in the research field. I, as the moderator, sincerely thank Dr. Ajay Tendulkar for his delightful contribution and valuable time, which make day 2 of 1 week orientation program on research aptitude of OPRA a success. I am also thankful to all participants for their support and patient learning. Thank you. Before leaving, there will be the one feedback form which is available in the chat box. I request all participants to fill that particular feedback form. Thank you, Tembulkar sir.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
वैद्य सर थोड़ा देर रुक जाइए, ये लिंक भरेंगे तब तक।
हाँ हाँ
वैद्य
ठीक है
सर,
ना सर। हो हो
मीटिंग एकदम क्लोज मत
रुक
करिए।
रहा हूँ ना सर, यही पे all participants are request the feedback form is available in the chat box. Everybody must fill that before leaving. All participants are requested to fill that feedback form available in the chat box. Then you can all participants please fill the feedback form available in the chat box before leaving this Google.
Dear participants, the next lecture, that is on Monday, it is scheduled at 4 p.m. and that is also another good topic and important topic which will be covered. The title or the caption of the lecture is Journal Metrics and Author Metrics in Research Publication Domain, which will be delivered by Dr. Mangala Hirwade, Professor and Head, Department of Library and Information, Rashtrasant Tukaduji Maharaj, Nagpur University. So please join us on Monday at 4 p.m.
Those are filled feedback form. They can view from this. Participants who are filled feedback form, they can leave from this. And feedback form will be active up to 2:30 p.m. only. Those are filled feedback form, they can leave this.